Hey, welcome back to Good Neighbor Sports. I'm Austin Hinton, and I am tired of talking about these guys, but the very first speed bump in the Buffalo Bills' road to the Super Bowl this season, it's got to be the New England Patriots, right? Tired of seeing these guys, but hey, let's put them in the dirt once and for all, and let's kick their ass.
And now the Bills are on the rise again.
It is pandemonium. It is fantastic.
Hey, you like the Bills? You hate the Patriots? How about you like and subscribe to the video? It helps me out, and if you don't, bad things tend to happen, so don't ruin it for the rest of us. Come on, get those Bills this dub, get us into the divisional round, and let's get to this Super Bowl finally. Come on, let's do it. So this is the third time in about, 7 weeks that I've had to preview the New England Patriots, and, so I had to do a little bit extra work, a little bit extra brain power here to come up with something new, something fresh, I guess. So I came up with this kind of mixture of a, serial killer's ransom note bred with a preschooler's finger painting to come up with this entire kind of spreadsheet of what we're going to expect and what's important for this upcoming matchup. And the 5 metrics that I laid out in order of importance, in my opinion, goes number 1, coaching, number 2, quarterbacks, number 3, defense, and then matchups, and then fun facts, because come on, we gotta have a little bit of fun here. If you guys want, detailed, in-depth Buffalo Bills analysis and X's and O's and stuff, this isn't the channel. This is just more casual fan talk kind of stuff. So, hey, let's get into it. Let's just get through this, because I know all night Saturday, we're just gonna be going through tables. So sit tight, grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's go. So number 1, coaching. All right, on the Buffalo Bills side, you got Sean McDermott. On the New England Patriots side, you got the greatest coach of all time, Bill Belichick. And what's this right here? Well, this illustrates the last 8 games each coach has coached. And a green bar represents a win, and a red bar represents a loss. And the size of each bar indicates the size of the margin of victory or defeat. So if you look at the Sean McDermott first game, very big red bar, that's the Colts game. I think it was 41-15 or something, big deficit. So next game was a pretty big win. Then there's some close losses, and then some decently sized wins going forward. For Bill Belichick, 8 games ago, he was on top of the world, but it seems like he's been declining a bit, had one good game against the Jaguars, and then back in the dumpster. So if I draw trend lines for both these coaches here, like you would for any stock or something, Sean McDermott's stock is trending up. It's bullish. We're looking good. Bill Belichick, not so much. It's kind of trending down, but that's the last 8 games. There's not too much magnitude on this kind of thing, but it just shows the trend of what's going on. Next part of coaching, the playoff experience. So Sean McDermott here, I'd give him 2.5 stars out of 5. All right, he's 2 of 3 in the playoffs, 2 wins out of 5 games, giving him a 40% win rate, whereas Bill Belichick here, 5 stars, okay? He's 31 of 12, giving himself a 72% win rate, but, and here's the kicker here, I put this asterisk here, Bill Belichick hasn't been on the road in the wild card round in a long time. So this is new to him. I might knock down his experience just a tad. I mean, this man has done it all. His resume speaks for itself, but hasn't been on the road in the wild card round. Come on. He might get a little shaken up after that. Who knows? We'll see. But next is the record versus each other. So I only chose the last 2 years because the rest of them stink. But Sean McDermott is 3-1 against Bill Belichick in the last 2 seasons. So, and it really should be 4-0. The coaching here, I'd give Bill Belichick the edge. Obviously, he's the number 1 threat, I'd guess you'd say, and he's not even on the field. If you're preparing against the Bills, you're worrying about Josh Allen. If you're dealing with the Patriots, you're always looking at Bill Belichick. So this will be interesting because everything that has been done years prior has been with Tom Brady. So who knows? Who knows what this team is in the playoffs? Next up, quarterbacks. You got Josh Allen and Mac Jones. So I got some stats here, and let's run through them. Completion percentage, Mac Jones leads the duo, 67.6% completion percentage. Josh Allen, 63.3%. Doesn't tell the whole story, but let's just keep going. Pass attempts, Josh Allen has over 120 more attempts than Mac Jones here, giving him about, 14 more touchdowns, 36 to his 22. Josh Allen's throwing more touchdowns. He's throwing more yards, but he's also throwing more attempts, so that comes with the territory. What's different about these two, though, Josh Allen runs. He's got 763 rushing yards on the season to Mac Jones's 129. So we all know this. Josh Allen runs, Mac Jones doesn't. I mean, that's nothing new. To come with that is the rushing touchdowns. Josh Allen has 6. Mac Jones has a whopping 0. And then interceptions. Josh has thrown 15. Mac has thrown 13. But when you look at the percentages based on the attempts as well, Josh Allen's interception percentage is 2.3%, where Mac Jones is 2.5%. So Josh Allen is a little bit more safe with the ball when it comes to throwing it. Obviously, we can kind of extrapolate that from just watching the season. So regardless, fumbles, both quarterbacks tend to fumble quite a bit. And they also tend to get sacked quite a bit. Josh Allen to Mac Jones's 26 to 28 respectively sacks. But Mac Jones gets sacked for way more yards. So Josh has really learned to kind of escape the pocket laterally, and Mac Jones is still the rookie escaping the pocket going the wrong way, and he's getting sacked down there. So that's something Josh has learned in his last 3 seasons. So this one, I think he's getting a little better when he's getting sacked. But both quarterbacks clocking in at about 92.5 quarterback rating. So honestly, they match up, I'd say, but Josh Allen's the way more talented, way more capable, way more playoff experienced quarterback. I'd give him the edge 10 times out of 10. Next up is the defenses. So the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots defenses top the league. The AFC East has crazy defenses. The Buffalo Bills are ranked 1. The New England Patriots are ranked 2. When it comes to points allowed, Buffalo's ranked 1, I believe, with 289 points allowed to the Patriots 303. Very similar, not really statistically significant here. First downs, pretty similar, not very different. Yards allowed, quite a big difference in my opinion, actually. The Bills are pretty good at, stopping everything. Passing and rushing. Obviously, the Buffalo Bills are the number 1 defense, so they kind of lead the Patriots in a lot of these stats, actually all of them, but penalties. So they're getting a lot of penalties. That's a problem. And then turnovers. Buffalo's defense has generated 30, and so is the Patriots. This is, like I said, it's going to be a defensive battle. It's defense versus defense. But when you count for the last 3 games each team has played, when it comes to the last 3 games that each team has played, and these 3 games are against opponents of pretty similar win percentage, the Buffalo Bills' last 3 opponents have a 42% win percentage, whereas the Patriots' last 3 opponents have a 45% win percentage. Not too different, but the stats are very different. Points per game. Buffalo's defense is only allowing 15.3 to the New England Patriots 25.3, 10 whole points more. Yards per game, the Buffalo Bills defense is only allowing 202 to the New England Patriots 326. Huge gap there. First downs per game, 14 allowed for the Bills defense, 20.7 allowed for the Patriots defense. Big. Here's another big one. Third downs per game. The Buffalo Bills defense in the last 3 games has averaged 1 third down conversion. And the Patriots have averaged 5.3. This is pretty nuts here, but extrapolating further, when you go into percentage, the third down percentage, the Buffalo Bills 9.68% of the time are allowing a third down conversion to the Patriots 44.44% of third down conversions. It's crazy. I mean, their defense has just fallen off a cliff in the last 3 games. So if they can get right against us, then props to them. But I'm hoping that the Buffalo Bills continue their upward trend, whereas the Patriots continue their downward trend. All right, next up, matchups. Now, my formatting here is a little weird, but let me kind of preface it with a couple things. 1, on the left is the Buffalo Bills, and on the right is the New England Patriots. Pretty obvious. And 2, everything here deals with yards. So the Bills' offense, the Bills' passing offense is 10th in the league when it comes to yards, whereas the Patriots' passing defense is 2nd in the league when it comes to yards allowed. So with that in mind, the Bills' rush offense is 6th. The Patriots' rush defense is 22nd. Big mismatch there. And so on the Bills' defense side of the thing, obviously, the passing defense, 1st in the league. Passing offense for the Patriots is 14th in the league. Big mismatch there. And then the Bills' rushing defense is 13th in the league, whereas the Patriots' rushing offense is 8th. So it's a pretty even matchup throughout everything, both offense and defense, if you just take it from a macro perspective here. I have the rushing offense and rushing defense of the Bills and Patriots respectively circled in purple here because the Bills rushing offense is 6th in the league and the Patriots rushing offense is 8th. But the Bills did that with 30 less rushing attempts than New England. I think I have it written here as Buffalo, but that's a mistake. Regardless, it's pretty impressive. And then a big matchup, and I haven't done my research right here, but I know Jalen Mills, a corner for the Patriots, is is out with COVID, so I don't think he'll be in the game, which means Gabe Davis should feast. Because Jalen Mills will probably be lining up with Gabe Davis if he was here, if he was healthy, if he didn't have COVID, but here I think Gabe Davis might just, have free reign. Diggs might take all the coverage, Davis might do the rest. Gabe Davis is highly likely to be the red zone threat throughout the day. He's always been the red zone threat in the last year and this season and the last season. He's just been the red zone threat. Also, Knox is mixed in there too. We'll see what happens, especially if Sanders is in the game. But going into our next matchup, Stefon Diggs versus J.C. Jackson. In the last game, it was quite the battle. J.C. Jackson had his number a little bit, but so did Stefon Diggs. Stefon Diggs had an absolutely monstrous game against the Patriots. So J.C. Jackson's got a little bit of a vendetta against Stefon Diggs going into this matchup. Obviously, you can look at the notes here. Stefon Diggs is twinkle toes, but J.C. Jackson looks pretty flat-footed. Stefon Diggs is getting past him all the time, and he's faster. J.C. Jackson is slower. Stefon Diggs is accustomed to the freezing cold because he played in Minnesota, which is way colder than here. And then matchup-wise, there's no need to compare our cornerbacks. They're pretty damn good. Levi Wallace, Taron Johnson, they've been stepping up big time, and it's great. Now, going into the fun facts, this is the best part. All right. It has been 58 years since New England has visited Buffalo in the postseason. Unfortunately, the Pats won 26-8, but let's not think about that. That was back in the 60s. Another fun fact. Everything in the past is irrelevant because it was done with Tom Brady. So everyone's got their thing like, oh, Bill Belichick, you can't beat him in the playoffs. He's been beaten in the playoffs. Come on. The thing is he had Tom Brady all those 20 years, so he doesn't have him anymore. Another fun fact, Mac Jones is cold and exhausted. What I mean by this, he's never played in a game this cold. I think the coldest one he's played in was a few weeks ago, and it was like 30 degrees. He's from Florida. He's going to be frozen. Also, he's exhausted. Mac Jones has almost thrown more balls in one season of NFL football than he has in his entire collegiate career. His arm's got to be a little bit tired, but also his arm stinks, so who cares? That rookie wall is bound to hit him pretty hard, especially in this cold, and when you get hit in the cold, it hurts way more. Another fun fact, and the last one I got for you, is the Patriots can't come back from anything. They can't make a comeback. They get down early, and they're toast, In the last few games that they've lost, that's how it goes. So, get an early lead, which leads me into the last segment here, which is the game plan. This is what I think we should do going into this game. And the very first thing, Josh Allen has to start warming everyone up. He's got to throw it to everyone and see who gets hot. Just spread it out. Give it to Diggs, Davis, Beasley. Get the running back some touches. Just spread it out. See who's hot. Get everyone warm. Next on the game plan, find that mismatch and abuse it. Just like they did with McKenzie in the last game. He was hot. It was a bad matchup, and he just had a career game right there. Now, this does require a very strong pocket from the offensive line, so hopefully our offensive line isn't getting pushed around all day. Next step, take an early and big lead. This will just deflate the Patriots, and like I said, they can't come back from deficits very well at all this season. In order to do this, we got to be pretty aggressive, okay? We got to go for it on fourth because we can't trust our punter. So even if it's like 4th and 5, if it's in the Patriots side of the field, not like anything the Chargers were doing, go for it on fourth. Matt Hogg can't punt, so come on, let's just go for it. This also forces Mac to throw, which is the recipe for success throughout this whole game. And last but certainly not least, and I think it might be actually the most important tip here, be durable and be available. It's going to be a very cold game, and in the cold, injuries pop up way more frequently. So if you're sitting on the sideline and if you're waiting for the offense or the defense to get off, stay warm. I don't know what it's got to do, maybe some jumping jacks or run around, do some laps, but stay warm because if you're cold and you go into the game and you pull a muscle, you're toast. That's number one thing, be durable and be available. So with all that said, I think the Buffalo Bills are going to take home the victory, but it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think the over-under is like 47 points. Definitely hammer the under there. It's going to be a low-scoring game, very stout defenses, and very cold weather. So the Buffalo Bills win 20-11. And you're probably thinking, how do they get 11? Well, they get 3 points, and then a garbage time touchdown. They go for 2, they get 8. We still win. Doesn't matter. So Saturday night is going to be absolutely electric. It's going to be cold, so make sure you bundle up. A couple tips here. Make sure you got seat cushions as well as cushions for under your feet. And bundle up. Don't let any skin show. If you got ski goggles, put them on. It's a great idea there. If you don't have ski goggles, I recommend putting Vaseline all over the place. You're going to be cold. But yeah, stay warm, stay safe. That's all I got for you guys today. This has been another episode of Good Neighbor Sports. And as always, be good to your neighbors and go Bills.